जय हिंद दोस्तों, मैं हूं मेजर मोहम्मद अली शाह और आज मैं आपके साथ लेकर आया हूं एक ऐसी खास मेहमान जिनके साथ आपने मेरे को कई मर्तबा टीवी पे देखा होगा। वो उस साइड पे थी और मैं इस साइड पे था। आज वो मौका है भाई, आज हम इस साइड पे हैं, वो उस साइड पे हैं। जी हाँ, जो किसी तारुफ की मोहताज नहीं है। यू ऑल नो हर, यू ऑल हैव सीन हर एंकरिंग लाइक रियली वेल. You have heard her discuss on very serious issues, geopolitics, worldly issues, this happening, that happening. But today, we'll have a light-hearted banter, and you'll know more about one of your favorite anchors who you've loved watching on screen. Yes, I'm talking about, you can see her right here, none other than Priyanka Sharma. Priyanka,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
very much
much.
for taking your time, and such a privilege to be speaking to you.
Thank you so much. It's actually my privilege because it happens to be the first time that I'm on the other side of the table and you are interviewing me. Otherwise, it happens that I'm interviewing people. So, yeah, I'm also quite nervous though.
Oh, come on, have a heart, have a heart. You're a pro, yeah, you're a professional anchor. I should be the one who should be nervous, actually. Okay, let's start from your early childhood, Priyanka, because you anchor so well. So I'm a little intrigued to know that were you always into performing arts, going up on stage, taking part in plays, debates, declamations, elocution competitions, poetry recitation, and all that? Were you always into that, or yeah?
Actually, to be honest, I was quite a shy kid. And I still remember when I was in seventh or eighth standard, I was asked to go up on stage and read something, and my hands were shivering like this. I was standing in front of the entire school, my hands were shivering. So my class teacher noticed this, and she was like, you need to really build your confidence. You need to do things, and she was my favorite teacher. She was my class teacher. So she encouraged me to then join theater and compare events and all of that. So I did all of that, all thanks to that one teacher who really pushed me to build my own confidence, join theater, work on my elocution and everything. So yeah, I mean, I do have a background, and that experience of theater, it was a small experience. It was an experience of what, 2 3 years, but that experience made me who I am today.
Wow, wow, that is so lovely. And I could so relate to the time when you were saying your hand was shivering. It happened to me as well. Not once, several times, but what happened to me once was I had a blackout on stage. And bus,
Oh,
I decided that day, ऐसी गलती दोबारा नहीं होएगी. Okay, Priyanka, tell me one thing. You have studied from one of the best colleges of India,
yeah,
LSR, Lady Sri Ram.
yeah.
And I'm intrigued to know because anyone who I have met from LSR, they are very smart, very intelligent, very witty. They are some, I don't know what. And I say it, I'm a little biased also because my wife is from LSR herself. So tell me about when you was LSR your first choice, or was it one of the many other choices? And how was it when you got admission in LSR?
Honestly, LSR is one of the most memorable experiences of my life. Why? I'll tell you. So I was in sixth standard when I decided that I wanted to become a journalist, and my father was like, you should not join journalism. You should go and become an IS officer. But I was so enamored by the world of journalism that I was like, नहीं मुझे तो journalism ही करना है. And in 11th, I was looking through colleges that offer journalism courses, and I went across LSR. And that's when I'm like, you know what, Delhi mein hai, I want to join journalism, and it's a very nice college. It's a girls' college, and it'll be a very different experience. So in 11th, I decided I want to join journalism, and I want to go to LSR. It just happened that I was like, मुझे तो LSR में ही जाना है. So in 12th, my father was like, to get into LSI, you need to get like 90% and above. Try getting that. And I didn't think of a percentage. I was like, yeah, मुझे तो बस LSI में जाना है, percentage जितनी भी आए. So I really studied in my 12th standard, and it just happened that I scored way beyond 90%. And even when the cutoff when the cutoff season was going on, I can't tell you the amount of nervousness that we all have when the cutoffs are coming out. And I didn't get in until the third cutoff. I was just waiting that, you know what, I had all my hopes pinned against this college. If it doesn't happen, I would have to do something else because there was no plan B for me. And like, मुझे तो LSR में ही जाना है. So the fourth cutout came out, and it was the exact percentage that I scored. And the moment I got to know that I got into LSR, I was over the moon. I rushed to my parents' room and I was like, I got it. And they were shocked looking at my reaction. They were like, what happened to you? I'm like, this is what I wanted and I got it. So, yeah, I mean, I had gotten to some other college as well just for a backup. That wasn't journalism. But when I got to know that finally I cleared the LSR ki cutoff, I was over the moon. I went the next day. I got my admission, and I was like, I'm sorted.
Superb. So which
It
course
was
did you
just
do from
a wish जो मुझे पूरी करनी थी.
Superb. So which course did you do from LSR, Priyanka?
Journalism.
Oh wow, wow. That's BBA in journalism, is it?
Yes, BA in journalism.
BA in journalism.
So bachelor's in journalism, and I think मुझे सिर्फ यही करना है.
You know, you're very lucky. In our time, there was only mass comm. We could only do graduation in either BA, BCom,
Yeah.
and BSc, and then a new thing had just come out that time called BCA, Bachelor of Computer. Now I don't know. You can do graduation in so many streams, and
Yeah.
that's lovely. So there's a 3 year course,
Yes, it's a 3-year course.
right? Your father, you were saying he wanted you to be an IS officer, whereas
Yeah.
he himself was in fact he was a renowned personality. And Sharma was
Yes.
CEO at the ITV network, and didn't normally what happened. The father is very encouraging of the next generation to say. My father was in the army, so he was very
Yeah.
happy when I decided to join the army myself for at least
Yeah.
short service commission. A doctor's son, when he says, "Okay, I'll study medicine," so wasn't he must have been very happy that okay, you decided to study journalism, that is from the best college of India.
Yeah, he was very excited and he was very happy. And when I got cleared my 12th standard and I topped, he threw like 4 parties, 4 different parties just for the celebration. And when he got to know I am in LSR, he told the entire world that I am in LSR. So yeah, he was my biggest supporter.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet.
Thank
That's
you.
very nice to hear. And are you the only child, or you have a
Yes,
sibling as well?
yes, I am
Oh,
an only
so
child.
sweet. So you must be extra pampered.
Yes,
That's
I was.
that's for your mother. Seema ma'am, are you listening? आपने कहीं बिगाड़ा तो नहीं बेटी को? So tell me, when you were studying journalism, what are the aspects of journalism you touched about in your graduation years, in your when you're doing BA in journalism? What are the subjects you had to cover? And yeah,
Actually, so during my 3 years of bachelor's in journalism, we were taught about everything from the history of journalism in India as well as the world. Then there was advertising and PR. And basically, everything that you can think of was in there. You must have heard of Vartika Nanda, who is the first crime journalist of India. So she was my HOD, and it was hell of an experience from not just making breaking lines or just the nuances of journalism. We were taught about ethics, you know and that's one lesson that I think really I took myself with home, that everything aside, you should have your ethics in place when you are joining this journalism course or the industry itself. So I think those 3 years were the most fun days of my life, but also I took home a lot of lessons from that institution, from that department.
superb. That's very very nice. In fact, your teacher, your HOD, you mentioned about what is
Yeah,
she also an LSR alumni?
I think so.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me, you were actually in your third year. This was year 2017 when it happened. And I'm very sorry to bring this up, but you had lost your father. I mean, it was a huge loss to everyone. It was a personal loss to a lot of people, and of course, and you were in your third year at that time.
Yeah.
So how did NewsX happen at that time, or rather, I would say, how did ITV network happen? I mean, joining this, how did it feel that first? How did that happen first? Secondly, how did it feel joining the company where your father was a CEO?
It's a very emotional subject for me, to be honest, because it happened all of a sudden. In my third year, I had decided that I would be doing fashion journalism, because I eventually realized that I'm really interested towards fashion and lifestyle, and that's when I also started my own blog, which was the Indian Fashion Edit. So I was doing blogs related to college fashion and everything, and my father was very supportive of it, and we decided that I want to do fashion journalism from London, and he was also very supportive about this. The entire family was very supportive of this decision, and I decided that I'll be applying after Diwali. So Diwali is around November. And I was like, let me just get all my papers ready and I'll apply for my master's post that. But on the day of Diwali, my father got a cardiac arrest. And I just felt like my whole world um, collapsed then, because he was the pillar of the family. He was the only one that me and my mother depended on. And it was just a very huge shock for us. And he was so afraid of hospitals that he passed away before reaching the hospital. And that day, I decided that, what, I have to take on the responsibility, and I can't be that little pampered kid anymore. And that day I was wearing his slippers. The day he passed away, I was roaming around in his own slippers, because that moment was so bloody that whatever I could find, I wore it and I rushed, and it just happened. The news broke. And that day I decided that, what, I can't be that little kid and I have to do something. And ITV Network was such sweethearts that the moment they got to know, they came to support me in just like 30-40 minutes. I had Intezar Bhaiya with me, and everybody was just there for me. I didn't had to call anybody. They were just there. It happened, I looked behind me and they were just there for me. And I think within 2 to 3 days it was just decided that I was joining ITV Network. And that was it. I mean, when I was sitting in the office, in the HR room, deciding what will I do, they asked me, what will you do? Because back then I was still in my third year. My college wasn't even completed. So the HR asked me, what do you want to do? I said sales and marketing, because my dad was in that there. So she said, no, but what do you want to do? What do you have an experience in? So I said, I told her about my experiences, and I've done internships in blogging and content creation, blogging and everything. So then she said, why don't you become a content writer? Why don't you write for the website, NewsX website? And that's how it started. Um, Back then it was just like, it has to get done. I wasn't anticipating where that decision would lead me, but here I am. That's how the journey started in 2017, and
Wow.
it's going to be 5 years in November now.
Wow, wow, so sweet, yeah. And and that is the beauty of a family when you have when you have a professional space which is like your family.
Yes,
Like in the
absolutely.
army, our regiment, our unit was like a family. It still is.
Yes.
I've left the army, it's been so many years, but yet the commanding officer, whoever takes over, is our commanding officer that way. And of course, Intzar Bhai is a very, very sweet person. And in fact, each time I've come over to meet Karthikeyan, he's always met me and greeted me with a lot of warmth, a lot of love.
Yeah.
And in fact, Karthikeyan himself is a
Yeah.
very, very thorough gentleman, in fact.
Absolutely. For me, he is the pillar after my dad left. So I know, until as long as he's there. I know nothing can happen to me and nothing can happen to my family. I can always depend on him because I know he's there for me.
How sweet is that, Priyanka? I mean, I was there for his wife Ashwarya Pandit's book launch, and a couple of months back. Oh, what a book launch, and what a wonderful book that is! And he's a fine gentleman. So
Yes.
tell me now, your first day of anchoring, when you had to sit in the newsroom and there was a camera, there were lights. And how did you feel at that time?
So anchoring just happened. I mean, it was not something that I was actively seeking, but I think my boss recognized something that I didn't, and he gave me the opportunity. So I got a call that you will be starting anchoring next week. Send me your anchoring tapes, and it got approved. And I started anchoring. I still remember the first 30 minutes of my first ever bulletin were really bad. I was so nervous looking at the camera and like, I don't know what to do. I don't
I
know
don't
how
believe
it
that.
will happen.
I don't believe that. Anyhow,
But yeah, after the first 30 minutes passed away, it was very nice. I felt like I was living the dream because I grew up watching Barkhadat. I grew up watching the legends. And when I was in sixth standard, I grew up watching all these people. And I think that was my moment that, maybe the stars were lined like that. And it just so happened that I reached here, and I genuinely felt like the girl that was in her sixth standard, wanting to become a journalist, um, fulfill her dream. Because for me, that was my I made it moment. I know, like, I always feel like I have never made it, but that moment really felt like maybe a little sense of achievement.
when we were small, no, Priyanka, we used to watch Salma Sultan on Doordarshan. She used to do
Yeah.
news reading that rose in her head. She was the brand mark. She was like the benchmark of journalism, of news reading. And then, of course, you mentioned about Barkhadat. Barkhadat, I've had the honor of being interviewed by her, just like the way I've had the honor of being interviewed by you a
No, no.
couple of times again. And so, just a few days back, I interviewed Barkhadat the way I'm interviewing you. Similarly, I think I sent you that link. I don't know. And so it's been an honor, to be on the other side now. So now, and also I want to know the way you said you grew up in your generation watching Barkhadat. Now,
Yeah.
when you hear girls today, they may not, they would be feeling that we grew up watching Priyanka Sharma, right? How would you feel when you hear this from somebody that, oh, it was Priyanka Sharma that inspired us, that took us to journalism, and now they would be soon to become anchors?
I think somewhere everyone who joins journalism, they have a dream of touching people's lives, because as an anchor, get to see, you get the news firsthand, and I think I've said this multiple times off camera, that you feel that you are a part of the history. um, because be it Russia-Ukraine war or the farm laws being repealed, all of these events that I anchored, I felt like I was contributing to the country. I was somewhere being a part of the history, because when you look back, you remember these moments. So even as a little girl, I think all of us aspire, be it we are in the army, be it we are in any profession, we aspire to touch lives, we aspire to inspire people, we aspire to be as honest as we can to be to our profession. And I think that's the aim somewhere, that you touch lives and you inspire somebody out there, who might be thinking, can I really make it up there? Yeah, you can. And if you are a little girl who thinks that, can I join journalism, surely can.
Very well said, Priyanka. Very, very well said. In fact, if I may say so, you would perhaps be one of the youngest anchors on Indian television channels. I don't know anyone younger to you. In fact, at least I don't know. Do you know anyone younger to you who anchors?
I am not aware.
There you are. Even I'm not aware, and I'm sure many of our viewers also would not be aware. So it is, and I'm super proud of you. That's another unique distinction of yours, being one of the youngest. And we can take that claim until someone actually comes forward, hey, and writes a comment over there, hey, I am the youngest anchor. But I don't think so. I really don't think so. One of the youngest anchors, but yet so brilliant at her work. So,
Thank
Priyanka, and one more thing I would like to, that is my good wishes, my wishes, and my, you can say, an elder's blessings for you that I wish you fit in, you grow to become the CEO of ITV network and fill the shoes that your father once wore. Since you were wearing his slippers at one time.
I'll say inshallah.
Inshallah, absolutely, Priyanka. Priyanka, it's been so wonderful speaking to you, and these
Thank
20
you.
minutes have just flown by, and you are such a delight to be in conversation with, be it on television, be it on YouTube, be it this side, be it that side. It is, you are wonderful. And any last message you would like to give to our viewers before we part ways?
Um, I would say that nothing is impossible. Push yourself, but also know your limits. Put yourself first, and just go follow your dreams, follow your happiness, and do whatever makes you happy. That's it.
Wow, very well said, Priyanka. Thank you so much for taking your
Thank you.
time.
Thank
And
you.
well, I would say मैं तो इस बार पूरे हक से बोला because I have taken out time for you many a times. This is zero time, baby. Zero time, baby. Your guest coordinator Muskan or Pradeep or someone would call, sir, वहाँ पे ये हो गया है, रूस ने यूके में ये हो गया, and खट से अभी लाइव हो. तो खट से I'm driving the car. I have to park the car and just put on my phone and data and come live and start speaking like an expert. But I have no clue what's going on. But then as I hear the anchor speak, I join the dots from there and then I take it forward from there. So Priyanka, thank you so much. You've been
Thank
very,
you.
very kind. And do convey my regards to your mother, please.
Thank you.
Cheers. Just stay on. I'm just